Jessica's hooking people up over here.
Just go to YouTube.
Oh.
Can you use your hotspot? Just use your hotspot. Okay. And go to Grind City Media.
Listen to the Gambino album, by the way.
Did you like it?
Loved it.
I really loved it, but it hasn't had the longevity in my loving. I just did 2 8-hour road trips, and I only listened to a couple songs from it in my rotation.
I've listened to it like 4 or 5 times this weekend. I'm a fan of Childish Gambino, so like he hits my eardrums in a very, very specific way. What would you? It's not Music Friday, but what would you classify that album as? Because there's so many different things happening.
It's a very multi-genre album,
and it fits. It fits, right? Like the first song, I forget. Atavista is the first song, right? It's just weird enough to be unique, but not so weird that it's a turn off. It's just 90s R&B enough to feel to make you feel nostalgic without feeling like somebody is leaning only on nostalgia. I have no clue what it is, but come award season, come Grammy season, they'll throw it in rap.
It has probably, but it has pop.
Yeah.
Has a little synth action to it.
Has rock.
Has spiritual.
Yeah. Blues. Yeah. Rap, hip hop. Yes, real good. How was the weekend?
Oh, it's 5 days too short, you know?
Okay.
Those 5-day weekends. Just cruise on by. Just
chill out.
Cruise on by.
What was the song today?
Genie in a Bottle, Christina Aguilera.
Oh.
If you wanna get with me, baby, there's a price to pay. There's a genie in a bottle.
There's a genie in the bottle?
I'm a genie in a bottle.
Thank you. Thank you.
Please, my brain has to get back. Not that my brain would know it.
It's a genie in a bottle. I'm a genie in a bottle. Rub me.
We did an early 2000s power hour this week. Once you turn 30, don't do a power hour.
What's that mean?
It's like where you turn on a playlist and every time the song changes, you're supposed to take a drink.
Why in your 30s are you playing drinking games? Why don't you people just drink?
It sounded fun in the moment. We used to do it we got very much in the nostalgia. Oh, remember the good old days where we did this in college? And then very quickly remembered we were young and able then,
so
and now we are
Do
old
you finish
and
the
nothing
whole
but
drink
woe.
or you just sip a drink?
You sip a drink.
Okay.
So please. Do you want me to die? We are back. CJ and I reunited. It is Tuesday, May 28th. Gonna be a good day. Jessica Benson with you from the Grind City Media Studios in Memphis, Tennessee. CJ Hurt behind the glass. Coming up on today's show, we have so much to catch up on. NBA playoffs. The Celtics are on to the NBA Finals after a sweep over the Pacers. Luka and Kyrie and the Mavs are up 3-0 on the Minnesota Timberwolves. We will discuss all of that. We had a sad weekend for the Conference of Champions, the official end of the Pac-12, plus the death of its biggest supporter, the one and only Bill Walton. We'll catch up on more stories from around sports, and then we'll end with a little TV Tuesday. Northwest performed at the Lion King 30th anniversary, got people heated. Lizzo got spoofed on South Park. There's a new reality dating show coming to Hulu. We'll talk a little bit about what we're watching. We will have fun on a Tuesday, getting caught up. You know what they say, Cowabunga!
Grizzlies fans know it's the team that gives you the edge. Big River Steel does too. That's why we're looking for team members to help us reshape the steel industry for a more sustainable tomorrow. Our edge starts with you at www.bigriversteel.com/join to join our dash team. That's www.bigriversteel.com/join to join our dash team.
Let's talk about MVPs.
Let's do it. I went with the Joker.
Oh my God, Nikola freaking Jokic.
Every time I watch him play, I'm so impressed.
I'm obsessed with him.
Yeah.
Everything he does works. He can pass, he can shoot, he can rebound, he can drive, he can defend. Like, he can do everything.
He can lead the fast break, and he's like 7-1.
IMHO with Lang Whitaker and me, Kelsey Wright Johnson, on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app.
Now for a limited time, the new $1.99 crispy tender wraps are here at Sonic. Who could deny a crispy chicken tender with bold flavors like hickory barbecue and cheesy Baja? And we can't forget the crisp lettuce and melty cheese to make the perfect bite. Wrap yourself up with some TLC, tender, love, and chicken for only $1.99. Sonic $1.99 crispy tender wraps. Tax not included, limited time only at participating Sonic drive-ins.
36 and a half vertical?
Watch your
Yeah,
head.
you said it was 44.
Dude, you sure I said that?
36 and a half.
36 and a half is big.
36 and a half. I've got bench press here.
18 times.
17.
Okay.
You always have to put a little barbecue
It's
sauce.
called barbecue sauce. Barbecue sauce on the wings.
The Chris Vernon Show, presented by Caesars Sportsbook, live weekdays at noon on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app.
The Grizz Girls are no ordinary dance team. They're known across the NBA for setting the standard for world-class dance and entertainment. From hip-hop to jazz, the Grizz Girls do it all. And they're looking for talented dancers with dynamic personalities to join the team. Do you have what it takes to join a premier NBA dance team and entertain Grizz Nation both on the court and in the community? Visit grizzlies.com/auditions now for more information and show us what you've got at open auditions Saturday, July 13th.
Feels great to feel the sunshine. Gotta own the day like it's all mine. Just got paid in his own time. Been working hard, I've been on the grind. I deserve this feeling, having my way. I've been on this healing. This is my day. The sun's out, ay. Let's have a little fun now. Ay. I wanna let it all out. Ay. That's what it's all about. Ay. Ay. 'Cause I deserve this feeling, having my way. I deserve this healing. This is my day.
Grind City Media presents The Jessica Benson Show with CJ Hurt. Live from the Grind City Media Studios on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app.
What's up, party people? Welcome back after a long weekend for many, a very long weekend for me. I was last here on Wednesday. So much has changed. Happy unofficial start to the summer, CJ. The humidity is here. The mosquitoes are here.
Oh.
Got my first mosquito bite.
Got out in the yard. I got like 4 or 5 on the wrist.
One right on the ankle.
Oh, that's terrible.
The worst. The worst. Okay, listen, before we get into all of the NBA playoff action that we need to get to, Celtics on to the finals after last night. Timberwolves will try to hang on for one more game when they face the Dallas Mavericks later this evening in an elimination game. But my friend Zoe, one of my best friends in the entire world, she was kind enough to drive home from Florida with me, right? And she kept saying, Jess, are you gonna put me on your show? I'm gonna come into your show. Are you gonna put me on your show? I said, no, Zoe, you can sit, but I have one job for you. I have one job for you. We opened the show by saying, cowabunga. She said, cowabunga, like C-O-W-A-B-U-N-G-A? And I said, yes, cowabunga. She said, okay. I'm gonna do it. And what happened in our intro, CJ?
She nutted up.
I heard no cowabunga from my friend Zoe. So we're gonna try to do this one more time. We're one more time. Zoe Steinberg in the building. Zoe Steinberg Valier, excuse me, her married name.
You use her full
government name
also. Okay.
Yeah, she wanted to be on. This is what happens.
If she doesn't say it, we're gonna take the.
She's a lawyer, so don't actually press her on things. She'll sue us.
Well, we're gonna take the wide shot if she doesn't say it.
Take the wide shot.
Yeah.
Oh, she wants on.
Oh.
Take the wide shot.
Take the.
There you go.
There's the wide shot.
There's the wide shot.
Now you have to say it.
Okay, I will say it.
Okay, everybody, it's so good to be back. You know what we say. Cowabunga!
There we
Thank
go.
you. God,
All right.
it's tough.
Good.
It's
Everybody
tough.
wants to be a
Everyone
star
wants to be a
until they have to be
star.
one.
Everybody thinks they can do this job, but they can't say cowabunga.
How was the vacation?
Oh, it was lovely. It was a true vacation. You know, we've talked on this show about like vacations, trips, 3-day weekends, whatever it may be. I do not think I've had this kind of a vacation since I was in college, meaning we had nothing on the schedule. It was perfect. We sat by the beach. We sat by the pool. We read our books like nerdy little 30-plus-year-olds. We had some nice meals. That was the only time we left the house to go eat, to sustain ourselves. How was your weekend? Did you do anything fun?
No, my weekend was fine. Main event, hung out with people, got out in the yard, did some yard work. It was fine.
It is wonderful to be with friends that you don't have to talk all the time with. It's like the best testament I can give a friend is I can sit next to you in silence for hours and there's no issue with it whatsoever. We'll catch up when we catch up.
Don't want to talk to you.
I don't want to talk to you. I just want to be in your presence. I do want to be in your presence.
Be in your
It
presence.
feels good. It feels warm. It's like a nice little comforting hug.
The next level to that is in your friend's presence, and you're both just sending memes back and forth.
Oh, we do that too.
Memes and videos. Like, we're not going to talk using words. We're just going to send
Just
these
memes.
funny
Just
things to each
TikToks.
other. Oh, the tickety-tocketies.
Here's your 8th tickety-tockety of the day. My friends hate sports, so catching up on sports and staying connected to the sports was a challenge. However, a lot of fun, and getting home last night to watch the Celtics officially advance to the finals for the second time in 3 seasons. There's a lot to talk about with the Celtics and the Pacers series. However, I think the most important thing that we have to begin with is congratulations to Xavier Tillman Sr. for making the NBA Finals. That's what everybody is talking about on this Tuesday morning. Xavier Tillman to the NBA Finals. It is funny because somebody asked me over the weekend, who is the nicest player that you have ever covered in your career? And without a beat, do you know who I said?
Without missing a beat, who did you say?
Without missing a beat. Xavier Tillman Sr. And there are many, but like that's the one that first comes to mind. And it is fun seeing good things happen to kind people. He was big in Game 3. They went into that bench in Game 3. They were down 18. What Xavier Tillman was able to give to them defensively. And it was such a testament to what we saw when Xavier Tillman was here in Memphis. Like when his number is called, when he is needed, he steps up, he does his job, he goes home. And that's all you can ask of a player that you acquired at the trade deadline and doesn't get used often. But when he did have the opportunity, he had the best plus minus on the Celtics in that Game 3. Certainly not stuffing up a box score, although he did have one nice finish in transition. But it was good to see for Xavier Tillman Sr. That is what X does. He lost his father at the beginning of this series, so obviously an emotional time period as well. So we wish X nothing but the best forever. Was this an entertaining sweep to you?
Nothing that the Celtics have done has been entertaining. And it's not about them doing things. I think if you're somebody, if you're an NBA fan and this is your first time watching this version of the Celtics in the playoffs, you think to yourself, oh my gosh, 5-5-4, they're running through these things, right? They're running through these teams. There's nobody who can stop them. We've seen them be great. We've seen them flirt with all-time greatness, right? Think about, what was it? Ime Udoka's last year. Was that 2 years ago? 2 years ago? 3 years ago? I can't remember. Weren't they, statistically speaking, the greatest defense we had ever seen in NBA history, right? Like, we've seen them put together long stretches of regular season basketball and postseason basketball that is really, really good and jaw-dropping, spectacular, and then it all kind of peters out and they fall flat. Eventually, that has happened with this version of the Celtics, where at some point in the postseason, they just give you nothing, and then they're out of it, and you're left scratching your head like, how could they have been this good and then fallen like this when time comes, when it really matters? So for me, and I'm not sure if everybody else is like that, but for me, or like this, excuse me, for me, it is all about what they do now. Their season, they're one of the few teams in the NBA whose season starts in June. Right, nothing they do matters before June the 6th. From June 6th on, this will be how I judge the Celtics team. So I didn't get really excited or really low. You couldn't get really low on them. Hell, they were beating the hell out of everybody in the postseason. I can't get really excited about them because I want to see them finish. And it's about what happens now. They made light work of the Pacers, which they should have. It's something to be said about beating teams the way you're supposed to beat teams and handling business the way you're supposed to handle business. They made light work of the Pacers. They made light work of the Heat, made light work of the Cavs, all shorthanded. But whatever you play, who you have to play, they could have fumbled the bag and been 6-7 game series for all of them. No, they took care of business. There's something to be said about that. But the Celtics, their season starts now. June 6th is the first is game 1 of the NBA Finals. That's when I'll start getting up and down on the Celtics.
Right. It takes out of what the Celtics have done up until June 1, because this season was going to be deemed a failure if they did not make it to not the conference finals, but the NBA finals, and they are now into that. They did not have to go through Giannis and Dame and the Milwaukee Bucks. They did not have to go through Joel Embiid and the Philadelphia 76ers, the teams that have been flirting in the orbit of the true competitors in the Eastern Conference, and then they get a Pacers team who ends up losing Tyrese Halliburton, isn't able to play yesterday, although Andrew Nembhard stepped up tremendously for that team. When I am on a trip and I'm prioritizing what games to watch, funny enough, I wanted to prioritize Timberwolves Mavs just because it felt like a more interesting series. However, by the time I sat down yesterday, I still, because of who the Celtics are, someday a team is going to come back down 3-0. It has never happened. It's going to happen someday. It wasn't going to be this Pacers team. I didn't think it was going to be this Pacers team. However, I was curious if the Pacers would steal a game because they came so close to stealing 2 more. We were this close to the Indiana Pacers either being up 2-1, or if they had won all 3 games, that they had a 90% chance of winning in the last 2 minutes of the game per the winning percentage opportunities, which sometimes is such a skewed graphic. But in this situation, it really was indicative of how the Pacers were playing. They just fell apart in the clutch time and time and time again. And the Celtics had more composure, but also the Pacers gave it away. That's where your Monday morning quarterback or Tuesday morning quarterbacking this whole thing and saying, did the Pacers throw it away or did the Celtics earn this series? The Celtics earned this series. Like, don't get in the weeds and get silly with it. But the Pacers also threw it away because they're still pushing it in transition in an elimination game, in a tight game down the stretch, and they're just turning it over. They're taking bad shots. It's like watching the last 2.5 minutes of that game last night was just chaotic, frenetic energy. And the Celtics weren't perfection either, but they did get more good plays from a variety of players, whether it be the big Derek White 3 or Jaylen Brown making big plays throughout. Jason Tatum ended the series missing a wide open 3, which felt just how Jason Tatum has been. Still was good this series. Drew Holiday was good. You could have made a case for Jaylen Brown, Jason Tatum, or Drew Holiday to win Eastern Conference MVP. And it ends up going to Jaylen Brown, who said that he was surprised to win it because he never wins SHIT. He was left off All-NBA. Obviously, he's harboring some feelings about that.
I would hope that our man, it's coming up here. We're about 3 days away, right?
From the anniversary of the worst game of his career?
No, from June 1st, which is payday. And I hope he looks at his bank account, because whether he wins awards or not, the Celtics sure are paying him like he is. You remember that contract? You remember how big that was? What was the worst game of his life?
The Game 7 against the Heat last year. He was horrible.
Oh, okay.
And against an inferior Heat team that the Celtics looked like they might have an opportunity. And one of the reasons they weren't able to close that out was because of how poorly Jaylen Brown played. So a nice redemption arc for him in last night's game, having
got paid. Still
29 points, 6 rebounds, 3 steals, 2 assists. He has the crucial block on Andrew Nembhard. He has the nice drive and kick to Derek White. He had this little floater to tie things up at 102 all. He had a big 3 earlier in the fourth quarter that went from it potentially being an 11-point Pacers lead to a 6-point Pacers lead. Here's the block, leads in transition, opportunity for the Celtics here. There's the block. There we go.
Give me that.
He's a good two-way player.
Yeah.
And you could have made a case for him making All-NBA. I think Domantas Sabonis stole his spot in that.
Stole?
Took his spot, not stole.
Okay.
But
Sabonis is absolutely deserving of All-NBA.
Sabonis had a great season as well. That's the thing. It's all subjective when you get down into the weeds of who is put on those and who is left off of those. And Jaylen Brown, who needs All-NBA when you have the Larry Bird Trophy? Am I right? You know?
Listen,
get that Larry Bird Trophy.
Larry O'Brien? No, wait. Larry Bird is
Larry
the
Bird
East.
Trophy.
Larry Bird is East.
Yeah.
The O'Brien is the big trophy, right? Yeah, listen, man. If that's what motivates you, then fine, knock yourself out. There are perceived slights everywhere daily for these dudes and for us as individuals also, right? Like, there are perceived slights that you can find to help motivate yourself to be a better version of yourself. If that's what he needs to do, fine, go do it. It needs to result in wins. I don't give a damn what he does. I don't care what motivates him in the morning. I know what he's getting paid. I know what he said as a younger NBA player about wanting, 4 or 5 championships by the time he turns 30 or whatever ridiculous thing he said when he was drunk off of Taylor Rooks, right? Like, I know those things. I don't care about what motivates you. I care about what you're doing on the court. And to this point in the postseason, he has performed. Before that Heat series, Jaylen Brown I was like, oh, I like this dude. This dude might be I can ride for him. He's my favorite basketball player now. And then that Heat series happened. I was like, oh,
nope.
Stop the bandwagon. Let me off. I'm ready to hop back on it now. I'm ready to hop back on it because it feels like both he and Jason Tatum and that whole Celtics organization have an understanding about what it takes to win, right? About what it takes to not win regular season games, or not just regular season games, not just a playoff series here and there, but like win everything. They are a much more serious team without being bogged down by the burden that is playing on the Celtics with expectations, and being close 3-4 years in a row, right? Like they feel like this is their moment. And I look forward to seeing what they do with it. I need to see who comes out of the West. I wouldn't pit the Celtics as favorites right now necessarily.
They will have home court advantage.
They'll have home court advantage, but we've seen this Celtics team with home court advantage lose a bunch of games at home.
If there's any team in the NBA whose home court advantage is not actually home court advantage, despite their home court being a very energetic, loud, and at times
racist.
Yes, that was the word I was looking for. Environment. They have struggled to actually capitalize. Oh my God! I know we
need Kyrie there, don't we? We gotta have Kyrie there.
How many years ago was it that he was saging TD Garden? Can we get the sage back? Bring back the sage.
Well, he already saged it. How often are we saging things?
That's true. What if we look back and him saging TD Garden at that time? Because the bad energy, the bad vibes of Boston.
Why didn't you sage the studio when you got back?
That's a good point. Should have. That's on me. Yeah. I'm not enough of a guru girly to come in with the sage coming off of a vacation.
Other Jacob does point out it might be culturally insensitive, but I think everybody is saging things.
I think everybody sages.
I think that is, in fact, I think that when I think of people saging, I think of your
my people.
I think of your people, I'm going to be honest.
But we might have appropriated it. Let's be perfectly clear. We definitely stole it from somebody and made it our thing. Let's be 100% clear on that occasion. But the fact that we have the chance to get Kyrie back in Boston, also Luka just being the peskiest of the pesks, and just his energy in Boston for those games will be tremendous. And then on the flip side, like, does Kristaps Porzingis come back? Is this Kristaps Porzingis returning after not playing? You would have thought that they would have liked him to play a little bit in this series. If he was able to, I feel like they would have rolled him out.
It reminds me some of that Steven Adams situation.
Yes, it's just the kicking the can down the road.
Yeah.
He might come back.
And I feel like this might be a bit of gamesmanship also, where they don't want to be like, hey, he's not going to be able to play anymore this postseason. They still want you to have to prepare at least a little bit for him. But it does feel like you said, kicking the can down the road, where they know he's not coming back.
They know it's not happening.
But they're not telling everybody else.
Also, if there's like a 0.001% chance that he comes back, there's still a chance. It's not a lie. It's just a fib. It's wishful thinking. Wishing and hoping.
Speaking of fibs and wishful thinking,
yes.
Derek Lively's neck injury. We saw that man get kicked in the back of the head and stand up.
It didn't look comfortable.
And stand up and almost fall back down.
And think that it was 2019.
That's his neck. His
it's like,
neck
am I back
injury.
in high school? High school never ends. Before we move on from Celtics Pacers and take a break, and we'll come back and talk about Mavs Timberwolves and everything that happened with that over the weekend. Did you see that Jaylen Brown on the Miles Turner little push? He called Miles a good kid. He said, Miles is a good kid. Let's start with that. Throughout the series, he loses control of his body a little bit. I was just letting him know, just watch it. He feels like he's at home. His family is watching. His girl is probably watching. And he had to do something. I've known Miles a long time. It's all love. Miles is a good kid. Jaylen Brown is younger than Miles Turner. If somebody younger than you called you a good kid, how would you respond?
This is why they got Kyrie out of there. Right? This is why. Because Kyrie was talking about them, Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum specifically.
As good kids.
And they're like, yo, wait a second. We're your peers. What do you mean? We're basically the same age.
Sir, we're teammates. You're not my mentor.
No. And Kyrie was trying to big brother them.
Miles Turner did not ask for Jaylen Brown to be his mentor.
So if it was me, you couldn't call me a good kid and be like you, Jessica. I'm older than you. right? I might not act it, but I am. You could not say, you know what, CJ's a good kid, and have me not correct you like, oh, wait a second, I'm a grown-ass man. No, we're not doing. You remember when now I'm thinking about all those instances. Pau Gasol, Pat, Chris Paul on the top of the head. Like, my bad, man. And patting him, and Chris Paul lost his mind. He's like, don't pat me on my head. I'm a grown-ass man.
Oh, I had a coworker who called me kiddo all the time. Good work today, kiddo.
Were they older or younger?
27. They were a couple years older.
Okay.
But, like, I was 27. They had to be in their mid-30s. You're going to hit me with a kiddo? It's inappropriate. Inappropriate. Call security. Anyway, Jaylen Brown definitely in a mood after winning. You know, the Larry Bird trophy just brings something out of someone a little bit more. We will take a quick break. When we come back, we will talk about the Mavs and the Timberwolves. Honestly, the fact that I was last sitting here on Wednesday, that was the morning of what would be game one, listening to that on my drive. Probably the most surprising turnaround for me is the fact that now sitting here 5 days later, the Mavs are up 3-0. We'll talk about it all after a quick break. Be right back.
Let's face it, there's a lot of trash talk in basketball, but the great teams let their performance do the talking. Like Ford F-150 with Pro Power on board, a class-exclusive industry-first feature that turns your truck into a mobile generator and leaves the competition speechless. Ford F-150, official truck of the Grizzlies. Greatness starts here at your Mid-South Ford dealer. Class is full-size pickups under 8,500 pounds, GVWR.
Anticipate each challenge. Make a quick response. Capitalize on every opportunity. And win. Greatness won't wait. It's true in basketball. It's true in banking. Grizzlies Checking from Pinnacle. Play hard. Bank easy. Open a Grizzlies checking account with at least $100 and a recurring direct deposit by April 30th. And you could receive a $200 direct deposit bonus into your account. Details at grizzliesbanking.com. Member FDIC.
Heart Royal Flush Tour 2024. November 14th, FedEx Forum. A journey through the hits and timeless classics. The iconic band returns with special guests. Jason Bonham's Led Zeppelin Evening. Tickets on sale now at heart-music.com. Heart with Jason Bonham's Led Zeppelin Evening. Produced by AEG Presents.
Lionel Richie. And Earth, Wind, and Fire. Memphis. You're invited to sing a song all night long. For the first time ever, Lionel Richie and Earth, Wind, and Fire. Together in one magical night you don't want to miss. FedEx Forum, May 29th. Get tickets now at livenation.com.
If you look at it, as far as the number 9 pick over the years, there's been some pretty good players that have surfaced at number 9. Of course, Dirk Nowitzki, who won a championship. There's been a lot of great guys, but who knows if there is a great guy in this draft.
Hey, Grizzlies fans, be sure to tune in to Grizzbeat, where the panel and I break down all things Grizzlies and take a look at the rest of the NBA as well. The show is live every Wednesday, 2 p.m. on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app.
Mike did his favorite black films of all time. Mike, where we at?
If there's one movie I know every single line to, it is Coming to America.
There we go.
It is Coming to America. It can come on any time of any day, and I'm going to stop and watch at least 20 minutes of it.
Get all of your HBCU sports and culture news by tuning in to HBCU Huddle with CJ Hurt and Mike Wallace. New episodes drop every Thursday on grindcitymedia.com, YouTube, and Spotify.
36.5 vertical?
Watch your head.
Yeah, you said it was 44.
You sure I said that?
36 and a half.
36 and a half is big.
36 and a half. I've got bench press here.
18 times.
17.
Okay.
You always have to put a little barbecue
It's
sauce.
barbecue sauce. Barbecue sauce on the wings.
The Chris Vernon Show, presented by Caesars Sportsbook, live weekdays at noon on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app.
after the Celtics took care of the Pacers last night, teams in NBA history are now 154-0 when they go up 3-0 in a playoff series. No team has ever come back down 3-0 ever before. 15 teams have won 2 games to force a Game 6. 4 teams have forced Game 7s by winning 3 straight games. No team has ever won 4 in a row to come back down 3-0. Now the Minnesota Timberwolves will try to embark to become the first. I will tell you one thing. If Anthony Edwards were to lead the Minnesota Timberwolves to become the first team to come back down 3-0. Then we could restart talking about the is this Michael Jordan's son comparison. However, at this point in time, we cannot be having that discussion because Anthony Edwards has been far and away not the best player on the court. Karl Anthony Towns has not been a tandem duo for the Minnesota Timberwolves. It has all been about Luka Doncic and Kyrie Irving and the entirety of this Dallas Mavericks team, who has managed to go up 3-0 on a Timberwolves team who this time last week we were sitting here saying they just beat the world beater Denver Nuggets. Is this now the best defense that we have ever seen in the history of the NBA postseason? And Luka and Kyrie are like, no. And they've combined for 66 points in Game 3 to once again come back, take that one at the end, succeed in clutch time, put the Timberwolves back in youth jail. And every time you say, oh, Anthony Edwards is 22 years old, like that's an excuse. And that excuse can't happen when people anointed him so early of potentially being the best player in this series. In hindsight, that is just silly. Luka Doncic is one of the best players on the planet. You could make a case that he is the best player on the planet, top 2, him, Nikola Jokic, and the fact that they have him. They have one of the best fourth quarter players in Kyrie Irving. Both have been tremendous. Role players have stepped up. Their bigs have stepped up. The status of Derek Lively will be interesting to monitor going forward. He's going to miss Game 4 tonight as the Timberwolves try to stave off elimination. But I have just been wildly impressed with this Mavs team, and just something that I didn't expect. Not saying that I expected the Timberwolves to run away with this series, but certainly did not expect them to be down 3-0.
I think that it is fair to point out Anthony Edwards being young. It is unfair to point out, like, oh, Anthony Edwards is Michael Jordan reincarnate, right? Like, that's the issue. When you're young, like you hadn't been in these types of games. You got to get the experience in this. This is completely different than first 2 rounds of the playoffs, regular season, then college, then AAU, then YMCA, Little League basketball. It's a completely different thing being in the conference finals, and then NBA finals is different than even that. So it's taken him some time to figure out how best to impact the game. He's 22. He's not near as good a facilitator as he should be, could be, will be later on, I think. Right? Like it takes time to put all of the skill set together to say, okay, let me find a way to create easy buckets for other people. And that's something that the other two know how to do. That's something that Luka and Kyrie can do at a high level. Not only can Luka and Kyrie do that, they've got tremendous finishers, and they've got a head coach in Jason Kidd who played with a bunch of dudes like a Lively, like a Gafford, where it is, oh, it's Tyson Chandler? I know exactly what to do on this pick and roll. And Jason Kidd worked that pick and roll with Tyson Chandler to death, and that's how part of the reason they were able to win a championship in Dallas. That Dirk Nowitzki championship, I do believe, had Kidd and Tyson Chandler on the roster, right? So you've got a coach who knows how to play with those types of bigs with players who are really good at facilitating and good at taking away what it is your defense does best, which is just swarm and create chaos and have it. Swarm, and it's chaos, much like the Pacers, only on the opposite end, right? The Pacers are chaotic on offense. The Timberwolves are chaos on defense. But when you have Luka and you have Kyrie, 2 dudes who can get anywhere they want to on the court, and then it's all about from there, make the right read, combined with the finishing capabilities of Gafford and Lively, that's a dangerous game right there.
And a player like P.J. Washington, who's made big shot after big shot.
In the corner hanging out, just, hey, you know what? I'm over here if you need me. You want me to take this shot? I'll take it. I'll make it. But if you don't need me, don't worry about it.
Right. And the one that it was Luka to Kyrie, to Washington in the corner, game tied at 104 all, and that's where the tide turns. That's not where it officially ended for the Timberwolves. I'm convinced it officially ended when Karl Anthony Towns pulled up for a heat check 3 with about a minute and a half to play, when Karl Anthony Towns was 0 of 7 from 3. In the presence of Dirk himself, you cannot say that you are this grand three-point shooting big and then be 0 of 7, soon to be 0 of 8. When you look at his shooting percentages throughout this postseason series, it has been so bad. He has, over the last 5 games, worst 5-game stretch of his career, 15 points, 35% shooting, 12.5% from 3. He is 4 of 32. TNT used a graphic that said bad kitty. Bad kitty. That was an unhinged graphic choice, but also true because his name is Karl Anthony Towns. He goes by Cat, and he was a very bad kitty. And it is the mixture. It is not all on Anthony Edwards not being able to go God mode. And he tried. That third quarter was tremendous. The dunk from Ant, everything that played into that. But when you have Karl Anthony Towns and Anthony Edwards being outscored as a duo by Luka and Kyrie by 70 points, it doesn't matter how well your role players are playing. That's too much to overcome. And Karl Anthony Towns has just shrunken back into all of the negative connotations and reputation that has been built upon him within the postseason especially.
14 and 11 is a good stat line for good players. Now, if sources are saying that you're the greatest shooting you're the greatest shooting big man ever, and by sources I mean you, your sources, you're the one who said that. You can't be 0 for 8 from 3. You can't have only 14 points. Like if sources are saying you're a greater shooting big than Dirk Nowitzki, who else? Rasheed Wallace was really good. We count Larry Bird as a big. If so, Larry Bird, right? Like if that's what sources are saying, and again, sources means you can't go over 8 from 3. You can't.
You also play in a league with Jokic.
Is he a better shooting big?
Jokic?
Than
Cat? Yes.
Okay. Well,
I would say absolutely.
So again, sources say that that's not true, and sources mean you, Cat. You can't do that. Although if you think you're the best shooting big of all time, you absolutely take that 3. That is absolutely what you do.
Is the difference between perception and reality, because everybody else is watching it going, no. Oh, no. He has the 5th worst true shooting percentage in conference finals history so far. He is behind Tayshaun Prince, Zach Randolph,
great shooting
Terry
big.
Teagle, and Ben Wallace.
He's behind
Karl Anthony Towns.
How can you be behind Ben Wallace?
How can you be
as
on
the greatest
that
shooting
list?
big of all time, according to you?
Yeah.
You can't do that.
You can't do that.
He was when Karl Anthony Towns. I ended up stumbling on the alternate broadcast, so I watched that. The one with Bomani Jones, Vince Carter, Chris Haynes, and Lefko.
Okay.
So I was on that one, and they pointed it out. When Karl Anthony Towns is going downhill, Jacob, get ready. I think that bird is coming back. When he is going downhill, like it's a different sort of impact on the game.
Yeah.
And bringing it here for just a moment, reminds me a little bit of the issue Jaren has, where they are both good three-point shooters. They are both capable three-point shooters, but they can fall in love with that shot a little bit too much, and they can almost hunt their three instead of going downhill, getting to the rim, and forcing the defense to adjust to that. One of the things I think Miles Turner does a much better job than both of those two. All three capable, all three good enough to take and make threes, all three, I would say, good three-point shooters. Miles Turner will take a three. He's not hunting threes. He's hunting getting to the rim. I think the other two, Jaren and Karl Anthony Towns, should do more of that. Back on Cat specifically, though, if Cat isn't playing well, it feels like it gets up here into his head, and he hasn't found a way to break out of that part of the game, the mental part of the game necessarily. Again, he had 14 and 11, which is good for good players, but he's not good. He's supposed to be great. He's supposed to be elite. I do wonder if with Cat struggles and Cat's hunting of threes, if he's not making them, if you're the Timberwolves coaching staff, you say, all right, bleep it. Let's get another facilitator on the court and Kyle Anderson. Let's get Kyle Anderson can play pretty good defense on Luka Doncic as well. We'll throw him out there, let him be the 4, and then we'll just play off of Cat. Because I think Anthony Edwards, Jamal Murray had this issue a bit in the series with the Timberwolves. I think that he can play better with somebody else as a facilitator. If you're allowing him just to cut, move, and get to his spot before he gets the ball, get to a good spot before he gets the ball, I think that is better for him right now. If Cat is going to play like that, and like that means just a good basketball player, then I think you could do more with Kyle Anderson. Also, Naz Reid as well, right? You got 3 good basketball players.
The fact that they
play
didn't
those
stick with
2 over
Naz
Cat.
Reid down the stretch of that game.
They did stick with them in game 2 and lost.
Yeah.
Right? Like, it's not like Naz Reid, who played well at the end of game 2, it's not like Naz Reid playing it helped them win that game. He was out there. They still lost.
Right. It is just such a testament to what this Dallas Mavericks team has been, and that has been the clutchest team in the NBA this season. And when we're talking about the Celtics moving on and the Celtics being able to maintain their composure against a chaotic, fast-paced, turnover-prone Pacers team late in a game, it will be a completely different scenario when they face the Mavs, because that's who the Mavericks are. They have 2 players who are closers. What I'm watching this series and the reminder that comes to me, yes, Luka is absolutely incredible, and the step back that he hit over Rudy Gobert is one of my favorite shots of the postseason so far. UMFer.
Can we pause right there?
Sure.
Remember this thought.
Okay.
I want to talk about Luka's step back just a moment. It's either going in or it's going to be the ugliest miss.
Correct.
Luka's misses are atrocious.
His feet aren't set.
Oh, they're so bad.
It's so off. Might have been a travel, but you're never going to call a travel in that scenario.
But the misses shake my house with how hard they clank off the backboard.
Mm-hmm.
All right, go ahead.
And it goes in.
And sometimes it goes in.
Goes straight UMFer mode in that situation. And for Luka in general, I saw a stat that of the history of players under 25 to average 31, 9, and 8 in the playoffs, it is just Luka Doncic. You take the rebounds down to 8, it's still Luka. You average 37 and 7, it would still only be Luka Doncic. And then when you go to 28, 7 and 7, it's Luka and LeBron. Like, we are talking about one of the greats of right now. And I know we always do runaway trains with could someone be the greatest of all time? And I really think we've got to stop chasing after who's the next LeBron, who's the next Michael Jordan. I know that's all we do as a sports viewing industry. But right now we are in this period where there are a couple of players who are truly remarkable in a different tier than their peers. And Luka is in that along with Jokic. You can go from there, but Luka and Jokic are right up there, and we have seen that from Luka, but we have seen the importance of having 2 guys who ball in their hands, whether it be Luka or Kyrie. You just have the confidence that it's going to work. You just know. You're watching the game, and the inevitability factor starts to sink in, and you would be more surprised if they don't get it done than they do get it done. And that's the difference of watching the Mavs versus Karl Anthony Towns taking a 3 when he's 0 of 7. And Anthony Edwards shakes into that a little bit, even though he's dropped off offensively in this series. But that's the magic of Luka and Kyrie, who still got it.
It's a fun time to watch NBA basketball.
I think so.
Different than the other fun times, right? I found as a kid watching Michael Jordan's dominance incredibly fun. I found watching what Steph Curry and the Warriors were doing, changing the way we think about basketball and positions and the value of taking threes, not necessarily making them, just taking them. I found that fun. I found LeBron James running through the East, 8 or 9, 10 straight years, getting to NBA Finals. I found that fun as well.
The Warriors changing basketball with small ball. Oh, I missed him.
That.
Sorry. Chris would have been.
I gave the Warriors as much love as the Warriors of that era need for this statement that's going to be made.
Okay.
You're not seeing that one thing right now. You're not seeing that, this is who everybody needs to chase. Everybody needs to be better than Kobe. Mm-hmm. Everybody, or Shaq and Kobe. Like, everybody needs to be better than those Lakers. Or everybody needs to be better than, if you can be better than Michael, you're going to win the championship. If you can be better than LeBron, you're going to get to a finals. You can be better than Steph and Clay and Dre, and then you can throw Kevin Durant and Iguodala in there as well, you're going to be able to win the championship. If you can be better than Magic and Kareem or Bird and the Celtics, you got a good chance of winning the championship, right? That team isn't around right now. It doesn't feel like. It feels like there are a bunch of really good teams who are built differently.
Yes.
That's the fun part to me. And it shows that, hey, you don't have to be built exactly the same. You can find a way to be built a little bit different and still have major success in this league. You think about the two teams that are facing off right now, completely different teams. And you throw the Nuggets in there, completely different than those two.
Even throw on this Eastern Conference side of things, the fact that the Pacers made it, and I know injuries aside, but
they made it.
A completely different team.
Completely different. And that's fun to see because it means to me, you don't. Too often, I think, across sports, we're going to talk about basketball, but this can hold true for multiple sports. Too often, people identify a successful team, look at their pieces, and start trying to force their pieces to fit like that successful team, right? Oh, they've got, they shoot a bunch of threes, great. You guys are going to shoot a bunch of threes. Not taking into consideration, they shoot a bunch of threes because they can. They've got the shooters to do so. You don't. Be built differently, right? Like, that's the issue I have with the way some of these teams get built. And right now, you're seeing it.
The Grizzlies go right through it.
We've lauded in the other round. We lauded the way that the Timberwolves were built. We're like, yo, what a great job the GM did. He's the architect of the Nuggets, and then he's the architect of the team to beat the Nuggets.
He created the team to beat the team that he created.
Anything is possible. He can do anything. And now they're up in a series, and that Nuggets stuff, throw it out the window because the Mavericks aren't built like that. Are you built good? Are you good enough to beat the Mavericks? Is what it boils down to. And I find that really, really enjoyable.
I love surprises. I love to be surprised. I love for things not to go in the way that I expected them to. And that's where someday a team will come back down 3-0. I don't think it will be the Minnesota Timberwolves, but someday I will be surprised by the Nuggets. It will not be the Minnesota Timberwolves.
It will not be the Minnesota Timberwolves of 2024. They're not coming back down 3-0.
What if they did?
Well, if they did, then I'm on camera saying it, not you.
Man, thanks for preserving my
got to protect the
moment. I will say, the only reason I was not surprised on how this all went down is because the Timberwolves cursed themselves. They cursed themselves. They posted a picture in the gym after they beat the Nuggets saying not satisfied. And when you decide to post pictures of yourselves working out in the gym, pumping the iron, doing the lunges.
Go back to Rudy Gobert. I've never seen that muscle before.
Right
what are
there.
those on the side?
I don't know. Never heard of her. Unfamiliar with
I've
that
never
muscle.
Had that muscle on
I
the
don't
side.
think it exists in my body, personally speaking. But why would they do this?
He's still getting cooked
Why
with those
would they
muscles.
do this?
He has side abs. I didn't know your muffin top could get abs.
Oh yeah, it's an oblique, I think.
I thought
obliques. No, that's your
Is that trapezoid? So these are the traps.
Traps.
Where's the obliques?
Obliques are your side, because when you're a young lady and you start developing like hips, you're like doing your oblique exercises over the, trying to get that. You know, you don't want a muffin top.
What's the oblique exercise?
I can remember standing in front of a TV just doing this over and over and over again. That said, why you would do the not satisfied post when learn from your elders. That's my takeaway. Once upon a time, earlier in this postseason, Anthony Edwards is flexing on Kevin Durant, saying he's one of the greatest hoopers of all time, how much he respects him. Why did you not learn from the Phoenix Suns of 2022, who also, once upon a time, decided to post pictures of themselves working out after a win? Granted, that was a win in the regular season against the Golden State Warriors. And then what happened after that? They went 2-4 in the postseason, and they lost to the Dallas Mavericks. And now the Minnesota Timberwolves, after beating the Nuggets, saying, we're not finished. We're going to prove to you that we're not finished by posting pictures of muscles you've never seen on your own body just to show how hard we are working in this exact moment. The curse. I'm telling you, don't do it. That's the moral of the story. Don't post pictures of yourselves working out. It's so annoying.
Somebody said something about a dark mode once upon a time, didn't they? Remember that?
Dark mode.
Remember that? Go dark mode, baby.
We're going to go dark mode because we're going to take a quick break. When we come back, We'll talk about Bill Walton, who passed away yesterday, the end of the Pac-12. Also, one of the most hated umpires in Major League Baseball history is retiring. All that and other stories from around sports when we come back.
Royal Flush Tour 2024. November 14th, FedEx Forum. A journey through the hits and timeless classics. The iconic band returns with special guests. Jason Bonham's Led Zeppelin Evening. Tickets on sale now at heart-music.com. Heart with Jason Bonham's Led Zeppelin Evening. Produced by AEG Presents.
Let's talk about MVPs.
Let's do it. I went with the Joker.
Oh my God, Nikola freaking Jokic.
Every time I watch him play, I'm so impressed.
I'm obsessed with him.
Yeah.
Everything he does works. He can pass, he can shoot, he can rebound, he can drive, he can defend. Like, he can do everything.
He can lead the fast break, and he's like 7-1.
IMHO with Lang Whitaker and me, Kelsey Wright Johnson, on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app.
Now for a limited time, the new $1.99 crispy tender wraps are here at Sonic. Who could deny a crispy chicken tender with bold flavors like hickory barbecue and cheesy Baja? And we can't forget the crisp lettuce and melty cheese to make the perfect bite. Wrap yourself up with some TLC, tender, love, and chicken for only $1.99. Sonic $1.99 crispy tender wraps. Tax not included, limited time only at participating Sonic drive-ins.
If you look at it as far as the number 9 pick over the years, there's been some pretty good players that have surfaced at number 9. Of course, Dirk Nowitzki, who won a championship. There's been a lot of great guys, but who knows if there is a great guy in this draft.
Hey, Grizzlies fans, be sure to tune in to Grizbeat, where the panel and I break down all things Grizzlies and take a look at the rest of the NBA as well. The show is live every Wednesday, 2 p.m. on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app.
Mike did his favorite black films of all time. Mike, where we at?
If there's one movie I know every single line to, it is Coming to America.
There we go.
It is Coming to America. It can come on any time of any day, and I'm going to stop and watch at least 20 minutes of it.
Get all of your HBCU sports and culture news by tuning in to HBCU Huddle with CJ Hurt and Mike Wallace. New episodes drop every Thursday on grindcitymedia.com, YouTube, and Spotify.
36.5 vertical?
Watch your head.
Yeah, you said it was 44.
Well, you sure I said that?
36 and a half.
36 and a half is big.
36 and a half. I've got bench press here.
18 times.
17.
Okay.
You always have to put a little barbecue
It's
sauce.
called barbecue sauce. Barbecue sauce on the wings.
The Chris Vernon Show, presented by Caesars Sportsbook, live weekdays at noon on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app.
Watching Tiger Woods play golf is a lot like going on a vacation with your kids. You want to do it. You think you're going to have a great time. You think you think you're going to enjoy it, and then you get right in the middle of it, and you go, "Man, this is not as much fun as I thought it was going to be. This is making me sad." You always think it's going to be great.
Yeah,
sometimes it is, but
I had
you know what I mean.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. Everybody knows what I mean.
The Gary Parrish Show, live weekdays at 10 a.m. on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app.
Welcome back. I was driving home from Florida yesterday when Chris called me to tell me that Bill Walton had died.
Oh, heartbreak.
And it is one of those celebrity deaths that truly made my heart sink. And sometimes you don't understand just how deeply you care about a celebrity, somebody that you've never met, you don't know personally, until you hear that they've died, especially when it's unexpected. And I was unaware that Bill Walton had been battling cancer. He died at the age of 71, which is far too young. And when someone, especially with just the force of nature that he was, you hear that and you're like, oh, I thought Bill Walton would never die. Like, I thought he would be a legend forever, and one of those broadcasters who worked well into the later stage of his life. But it was so sad. And then there was also just something so beautiful to it, with the understanding that the Pac-12 officially came to an end this weekend. They had their conference baseball tournament. The Pac-12 is no more, and Bill Walton died the next day. And I'm not trying to trivialize a death, but like anybody who has been following Bill Walton forever understands that he is the biggest champion of the Conference of Champions, and the notion that Bill Walton will not exist in a world without the Pac-12, there is something incredibly poetic about that.
I don't want to speak for him. I don't know him. I only interact with him when he pops on my TV, and it's like I get so excited to see Bill Walton, and it's always been that, not just here recently towards the end of his life with the Pac-12 stuff that he was doing, but I remember Bill Walton being on major NBA calls as well, and just loving the way that he broke down the game, the way he analyzed it, and things that he would say about those current players. I think so often, too many times, we've got past players unfairly, not even critiquing or criticizing, just being unfair to today's players, in part because they don't want to feel like they're forgotten. Like, don't forget about the things that we were doing when I was playing. I think Bill Walton embraced that era's and that day's players in the NBA in a really, really cool way. And then the things that he was doing with the Pac-12 towards the later part of his life was always really, really fun as well. But I would think, just, again, don't know him, that he would, if we could talk to him, he'd be like, yeah. Pac-12 ended. I was like, I'm not living in this world. Like, he would crack jokes about it.
Yes.
Because that's just the type of dude he felt like he was.
In a tie-dye shirt, sitting on a cloud, saying, if the world doesn't want the Pac-12, I no longer want the world.
You've seen Kung Fu Panda, great movie, one of the great movies of all time.
Should have won an Oscar.
Should have. Did it not?
Might have after.
It should have won Best Picture. If it won Best Animated Movie, and I'm not sure if it did. It might have came out the same year as Frozen.
It did. 2009.
Who else
Best
was there?
Animated Feature.
Do you know? While you figure that out,
yep,
you remember when Master Oogway, the all-knowing turtle who had been around for hundreds of years, was talking to the person who was supposed to train Kung Fu Panda, supposed to train Po himself, and he's like, you know what, my time here is done. And my man, the turtle, he didn't die. He just left. He just turned a different color, became flowers, and then just left. I feel like that's what Bill Walton did, where he was just sitting down in a yoga pose, like, no Pac-12. Okay, I'm gone. Went gold, and then just burst into a flower cloud of blue for UCLA, like UCLA blue.
With
and then he just
gold
dissipated.
sprinkled in.
Yeah, gold sprinkles, and then he just left.
Conference of Champions, namaste.
And
out he went. Kung Fu Panda did not win. Okay. It lost to my greatest Disney movie of all time, WALL-E.
Oh,
what a year.
I thought it was a Disney movie.
WALL-E, Kung Fu Panda, and Bolt, 2008 nominees.
One of those things is not like the other.
Sure it's not. And
Bolt,
the year after,
movie.
Up won. That was a good run. And that was up against The Princess and the Frog and Fantastic Mr. Fox, the Wes Anderson animated movie. Good time for animated movies. The year after, Toy Story 3 beat How to Train Your Dragon. There have been some legitimate races in the animated movie world over time.
Listen, I would argue that some of those movies should have been in the Best Picture nomination.
I would argue it as well. But I was reading an article, and it's exactly what you were saying from a standpoint of Bill Walton being like the opposite of a boomer. Like, he was always learning. And I was reading John Canzano, who's a longtime Pac-12 reporter, his story on Bill Walton's passing this morning. And he reflected on a quote that Bill Walton told him once, which was, everything about my life is about making things better. And I thought that's such a beautiful hope to give into the world. And he was just such a positive spirit. And I know he drove some people crazy. I loved him. I thought his commentary was delightful. I thought it was humorous. The partnership between him and Dave Pasch was perfect. It was like taking Dave Pasch, an analytical, like, business major, and putting him with a creative writing major in Bill Walton, who wanted to make everything poetry in motion and everything meaningful, and a lot of extended metaphors in the words of Bill Walton. And my favorite Bill Walton broadcast moment of all time, which is when he ate in a cupcake in its entirety with a lit candle on top of it. Just cupcake, candle. Favorite thing, here it is. They were gonna blow it out like a normal person, and Bill Walton just goes straight in for the munch, lit candle and all. Who cares about a little fire on the tongue? It's going to be washed away by the frosting. But I do think it's fascinating to see a person who became so bigger than life and became bigger than his basketball accomplishments. Like, here he is, a 2-time NBA champion. He's a former MVP. He's a 2-time NCAA champion. He was a really fantastic player. He's a Hall of Famer. And in later life, sometimes we almost forgot about his basketball achievements because of who he became as a persona and a broadcaster and just a figure in all of our sports viewing lives. And that is such a rarity. And it just speaks to Bill Walton as a person who became bigger than Bill Walton, the player.
Few people can do that.
Yes.
Few people can mean one thing to one generation and something else to a different generation. My father will routinely point out to me, hey, if Bill Walton was healthy, he may have gone down as one of the greatest big men of all time. When we do those what if things, like what if Penny Hardaway was healthy? What if his body didn't give out on him? What about Grant Hill, Brandon Roy? When we start doing those things in this sport, Bill Walton's name should come up and should be at the forefront of that list because he was a really good passing big. He could score as well. He was great defensively. He won how many championships in college? When we think about
one against Memphis State, he was 21-22 in that game.
Yeah. When we think about the great players to come through men's college basketball, if we doing the Mount Rushmore thing and you put Bill Walton on your Mount Rushmore, we're like, okay, yeah, I'm not going to take him off of there. I get why he's on there. He deserves that. He deserves to be mentioned with the all-time great college basketball players and all-time great NBA bigs, right? He's part of the All-50 team and the All-75 team, and he made those two teams on a very limited career because of injury. Right? Like, that's special right there. And then you add to it being the reason I watch Pac-12 basketball. You know,
me too.
Games tip off at 10, 10:15, 10:30. It's like, okay, is Bill Walton on the call? If Bill is on it, I'm going to stay up and watch.
And that's why I like you, because there are so many people who are like, is Bill Walton on the call? No, thank you. And to those people, they hated fun. They hated eating cupcakes. They hated the waxing and waning of the wordsmith of Bill Walton. And I enjoyed the silliness of which he brought to sports. And truly, like, when we used to go to the Final Fours, and there's a lot of basketball figures around, and you kind of get used to seeing everybody and former coaches all hanging out and doing their little coach catch-ups. The one person I consistently got amped to see, it would be, there's Bill Walton. I have endless pictures on my phone of just creeping on Bill Walton. Never asked for a photo, and now I wish that I would have. Hindsight, never want to be that person who, I don't like to inconvenience celebrities. However, I wish that I had one just because he meant that much. And Pac-12, great.
I think Bill Walton, the way he conducted himself and lived life, you brought this up, and I agree with you. Just because you age and you're getting older doesn't mean that you have to crap on everything the younger generation is doing. You could take a look back and look at some of the things that you did as a youngster and understand, hey, fads come and go. Let me leave this world a bit better of a place than what it was when I got here. And I think Bill Walton is a testament to that and did a good job of that. And I hate to see him go, man. R.I.P. Bill Walton.
Did you see the picture of him protesting the Vietnam War?
Yeah.
Where he was like carried off of UCLA campus, and there was a story that John Wooden was like, Bill, you can care, but you got to protest differently. And Bill Walton was like, why would I protest differently? It's just, he's always been about learning and trying to be bigger than just Bill Walton, the basketball player. And I think that is a very, very cool thing. It was very tragic that the Pac-12 ended, and especially that the Pac-12 ended with a Pac-12 after dark loss to my USC Trojans. Honestly, just felt right, if we're being completely honest, that the Conference of Champions would not end with a USC champion in the baseball tournament as Arizona walked off to beat USC. The end. The Pac-12 comes to a close, and USC losing one last Pac-12 after dark just felt right for my soul. Felt wrong, but felt right. 100-year conference is dead, thanks to greed and mismanagement. Never forget.
Okay.
Pour one out for the West Coast, Best Coast.
I think it's their fault.
I think it's still East Coast bias.
I think it's that. don't
I
have
said it's their
headquarters.
fault.
Okay,
Greed
good.
and mismanagement.
On their part.
Oh, I'm sorry. I was talking
right.
directly about Larry.
There we go. There
I'm
we
sorry.
go. All right.
Let me be quick.
All right.
83% Larry Scott. And then East Coast bias and ESPN's continual refusal to put a spotlight on West Coast programs and late nights and people not watching the sports and blah, 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 blah. But Larry Scott is right up there, and deciding to have your headquarters in the most expensive place in the
come
world.
on, man.
And your TV studios.
Come on, man.
And all the payments that you have to give to people to work in the most expensive city in the world. I will miss the Pac-12 greatly. It does bum me out tremendously. Some baseball news that I know baseball fans are amped about. You know,
Wait, are you
official
just
of
gonna,
any kind.
Are we going to talk about the merchandise on a later date?
Oh, I'm so sorry.
'Cause that's the only story.
Can anybody get me a Pac-12 visor? I want a Pac-12 visor so bad. I
How
want
much
to
is
live
it?
my best old Lane Kiffin. I can see Lane Kiffin. He was a USC visor kind of guy when he was at USC prior to Ole Miss. I want the visor. I don't know how much it is. I don't know where I can get it.
Everything is $5.
Everything's
Everything there
$5?
was $5.
I know
They
I
were
went
just
to
having a flash sale, going away sale.
I know I went to Florida for this vacation. I genuinely wish that I would have gone to the Pac-12 baseball tournament simply so I could have bought a $5 Pac-12 visor.
We need more conferences to go out of business so we can get affordable merchandise.
Yeah, what is this? You're telling me they could have sold it for $5? Well, that's why they went on to. Also, I have seen so many Washington State and Oregon State fans be like, excuse me, the Pac-12 isn't dead. Yes, it is. Let me spoon you a nice little dose of reality. It's dead. It's like they're opening the casket. They're like, I swear she's still breathing.
What do you mean? They got Boise State they might can grab.
two-pack.
They might can grab.
The two-pack Mountain West.
San Diego State, maybe?
Nevada.
Maybe they grab Nevada.
Fresno State.
Yeah, that has the same weight as UCLA,
Yeah.
USC,
You wanna
Washington,
know what?
and Oregon.
I think if we're looking
Maybe
at
they get
premier,
Memphis?
if we're looking at premier California football institutions, Fresno State's right up there, baby.
Get Fresno.
Pat
Pat
Hill did so much work.
What's the difference in Fresno State and Cal?
I don't know.
All right.
I think
it's the exact same thing.
David Carr was exactly the equivalent of Jared Goff.
San Diego State comes in, and what's the difference in them and UCLA?
I see nothing.
It's not like UCLA was winning anything.
No, both have palm trees.
Here we go. Glamour cities.
Glamour cities. Sign me up. Anyway, I wish if anybody has a $5 Pac-12 visor that they would like to send me, please DM me at your earliest convenience.
Now I'm thinking about NCAA football.
Okay.
I might those police cars are going the wrong way. They're looking for somebody. They're finna get somebody. I might play as Oregon State.
I might play as Washington State.
Oregon State, and then try and rebuild the Pac-12.
I might coach as the ghost of Mike Leach.
Let's go.
Yeah. The Palouse. That's not a bad idea. I'll just keep holding on for as long as I can to the Pac-12 love.
And then you lure the other ones back.
Right.
You slowly but surely.
I build
get
back the conference.
Yes.
I
one
finally
at a time.
fulfill my destiny of being a commissioner's kid, and I somehow figure out how to rebuild the Pac-12. That sounds.
With all of the original members.
Dreams are made. Dreams were made for baseball fans with the news that nobody's favorite umpire, Angel Hernandez, is retiring effective immediately. His first game was in 1991, immediately, which means that it's been over 3 decades of causing people to complain over his calls. Anytime you know an official in a sport of any kind, you know their name, you know their reputation, when they become main character energy, they are truly villains of the sport. And that is where Angel Hernandez is situated in Major League Baseball. If you look at every post about Angel Hernandez's retirement yesterday, LASIK, the eye vision correction surgery, paid for advertisements to be placed on every Angel Hernandez post. Here are all of the LASIK posts that come up when you are looking through and sifting through the tweets of Angel Hernandez.
They paid for that, or they just hunted them out?
I guess they just hunted them out.
Just sent them.
They paid somebody to hunt them out
Okay.
and send them on each and every one of them, which is grade A trolling. I appreciate the pettiness of it, assuming that, hey, ump, get your eyes checked, Angel Hernandez.
Eric in the chat said, praise every God. Do you know how mad you got to be to praise all of the gods?
Do you think NBA fans will have a similar response when Scott Foster retires? Or do they not care as much? Is there any official in the NBA that would produce this kind of...
Scott Foster would be the one if there was one. Tony
but I don't
Brothers,
think it's
maybe.
The same.
It's not. It's not.
This
because
was like
Angel
the Hallelujah
Hernandez
chorus began.
So everybody came together to acknowledge the fact that Hernandez is the worst umpire of all time. So it's not just the LASIK tweets. Everything I saw, nobody would post like Angel Hernandez is retiring without showing a different video of Hernandez blowing multiple calls in a single game, in an individual game. It was incredible.
The only exception to that I saw, which is funny because they also did like a puff piece on Scott Foster either last week or the week before, but The Athletic did a profile on Angel Hernandez a few days ago, and I think it was because they knew that this was coming, and within that piece he talks about, or sources talk about, the strain that it put on his daughters and his wife. Like, he's not on social media, but he has been greatly affected on how the perception of him and the hate of him affects his family, which is one of the reasons why the negotiations have been ongoing for this to end. It's weird because it went back all through everything. And when you're reading quotes from like CC Sabathia saying he didn't know why on earth Angel Hernandez was still doing postseason games in 2018. Ron Darling saying he's stuck in a time warp of being authoritarian, like players and managers and media members, just quote after quote of how bad Angel Hernandez was at his job. And then on the flip side, they did have Joe West, who's umped more games than anyone ever in Major League Baseball, who said that anyone who's calling him the worst of all time is wrong, saying that some of the scrutiny is unfair. But they go back and you see the videos and it's just like, my God, dude. Like, there's enough video evidence.
That's the issue. We got the videos.
You can't unsee it.
I forget what year I feel like was the ALCS. I forget what year it was. Angel Hernandez had 4 outs overturned on video replay in the first like 3 or 4 innings. Like, he was incredibly bad at this.
He was bad at it. He got in arguments with...
Because he was bad at it. People were mad at him.
Because people were calling him out from an early time of, hey, you're not very good at your job.
Dudes are getting struck out, and they're just like walking back to the dugout like, well, what do you expect this Angel? I should know better.
What are you going to do?
Like, that is way in the dirt. What are we doing? Way in the dirt again. Jacob has pulled up, if you're listening, you should be watching, but if you're listening, Jacob has pulled up videos of Angel Hernandez highlights, and it is just pitch
Does this
after
count as
pitch
our inning
after
count?
pitch of, if we can watch 9 innings of it, sure, of Angel Hernandez missing calls, like blatant strikes, blatant balls, missing them badly.
Well, they told a story of, like, pre the replay that we have today, I think it was 2013, there was an A's game. That was a clear home run. Anybody there saw that it was a home run. And he still called it in play and stopped the guy at second. And everyone's, it's a home run. And people go back to that incident. And it was that incident that was referenced. And he tried to sue Major League Baseball for not getting a promotion and saying that it was discrimination. And Major League Baseball used that example, along with a myriad of other, of the videos that we just watched, saying, hey, no, we have time and time again reasoning of why you're not being called on to do a World Series, why you're not operating as a crew chief, because you're bad at your job.
Jacob, how long was that video? Okay, so that was just 1:30? Yeah. I've watched about 10 minutes of Angel Hernandez's blown calls, right?
Okay.
Like, because it happened, and I'm just scrolling through Twitter, and somebody has, and I retweeted it, somebody has a pretty good thread of some pretty egregious stuff from Hernandez. That 1:30, had never seen any of those.
Yeah. I saw within that article they put at one point he called strikes on 7 pitches that missed by 3+ inches, which was the most in a game since 2020. In one game.
Yeah.
It was a new umpire auditor record. Umpire Angel Hernandez rang up Wyatt Langford on 3 consecutive pitches out of the zone. The strikeout pitch missed outside by 6.78 inches.
That's a lot of inches.
That's a whole...
That's a lot of inches. Like, if you...
That's a baby.
If you're missing on 6.78 inches... Like, think about the length of 6.78 inches. That's almost 7 inches right there. And you can ask anybody, male or female, they'll tell you 7 inches is a lot of inches.
Thank you, CJ. Bridget in the chat asked why he was allowed to be this bad. The union is strong. The union has so many parameters in place to protect umpires, and I understand that, absolutely. But Angel Hernandez, won't be missed by Major League Baseball fans. I'll sure miss him when I watch my third inning of the Major League Baseball season.
Hey, do we have the inning counter?
What? Do you have a new one?
Do we have the inning counter, Jacob? If you can throw it up real fast so we can see where we're at on the inning counter, because it's very important that the people know how big of a baseball show this show is.
Right, yeah.
We're a huge baseball show.
Please come at us for our baseball tags. I don't know. My friend's always in an LA Dodgers shirt this morning.
Is she in an LA Dodgers shirt or just an LA shirt?
No, it's an LA Dodgers shirt.
Hey, look at the inning counter. 11 and a half innings combined of baseball for the JBS
I
show.
was really hopeful that over this vacation I would just casually have a baseball game on. That would be a big fat no. So we're still there. All right, we'll take a quick break here. When we come back, we'll do TV Tuesday. It was a dramatic weekend for Northwest, daughter of Kim Kardashian and Kanye West, who made her acting debut at the Hollywood Bowl. Also, maybe the funniest moment in Wheel of Fortune history. We'll talk about what we're watching. We'll have fun the rest of the show after a quick break.
Let's face it, there's a lot of trash talk in basketball, but the great teams let their performance do the talking. Like Ford F-150 with Pro Power on board, a class-exclusive industry-first feature that turns your truck into a mobile generator and leaves the competition speechless. Ford F-150, official truck of the Grizzlies. Greatness starts here at your Mid-South Ford dealer. Class is full-size pickups under 8,500 pounds, GVWR.
There's no substitute for experience, the knowledge gained from having been there before, and the passion to share what you know to make everyone around you better. It's true in basketball. It's true in banking. Grizzlies Checking from Pinnacle. Play hard. Bank easy. Open a Grizzlies checking account with at least $100 and a recurring direct deposit by April 30th. And you could receive a $200 direct deposit bonus into your account. Details at grizzliesbanking.com. Member FDIC.
Lionel Richie. And Earth, Wind, and Fire. Memphis. You're invited to sing a song all night long. For the first time ever, Lionel Richie and Earth, Wind, and Fire. Together in one magical night you don't want to miss. FedEx Forum, May 29th. Get tickets now at livenation.com.
If you look at it, as far as the number 9 pick over the years, there's been some pretty good players that have surfaced at number 9. Of course, Dirk Nowitzki, who won a championship. There's been a lot of great guys, but who knows if there is a great guy in this draft.
Hey, Grizzlies fans, be sure to tune in to Grizbeat, where the panel and I break down all things Grizzlies and take a look at the rest of the NBA as well. The show is live every Wednesday, 2 p.m. on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app.
36 and a half vertical?
Watch your
Yeah,
head.
you said it was 44.
You sure I said it?
36 and a half?
36 and a half is big.
36 and a half. I've got bench press here.
18's out.
17.
Okay.
You always have to put a little barbecue
It's
sauce.
barbecue sauce. Barbecue sauce on the wings.
The Chris Vernon Show, presented by Caesars Sportsbook, live weekdays at noon on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app.
Marge Simpson?
Come on, Bennett. You'd hook up with Marge Simpson?
Yeah. You ever see the ones with her hair, when she lets her hair down?
You're attracted to Marge Simpson.
Marge is cute.
Cute?
Legacy.
I mean, yeah. I mean, I respect her.
Yeah.
But she ain't Jessica Rabbit.
No, she's not Jessica Rabbit. She's not Jessica Rabbit. No.
The Gary Parrish Show, live weekdays at 10 a.m. on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app.
Welcome back. Welcome back. What?
Yeah, the song ended a little prematurely. It happens to the best of us
hate when that
sometimes.
happens.
It happens.
It's so good to be back. Welcome back. TV Tuesday.
Oh, you missed me talking about ballpark foods.
What'd you pick?
It doesn't matter. I made everything really uncomfortable for everybody.
Of course you did. I did see nobody took beer in the ballpark food draft, which felt...
Yeah.
inappropriate.
I mean, listen, it's hot outside. I don't like to like drink beer, something that heavy, like outside.
Oh, a light. There's nothing heavy about a little. Who's our sponsor? Bud Light.
Whoever our sponsored beer is, that's what we like to drink.
The lightness. Miller Light.
Yes, Miller. Yeah.
There's nothing heavy about a light. That was gonna be. It's in the name.
Yeah.
L-I-T-E.
I'd rather save that feeling though and get one of the glizzies because I'm gonna get glizzy guzzler.
Glizzies forever.
I got some glizzies at home. I can't wait to end the show.
Did you eat? Yesterday was a big glizzy day in America.
Was.
Did you eat glizzies?
I did not eat glizzies yesterday.
I also did not eat glizzies.
We went to a friend of my wife's and a friend of mine, honestly, as well. Went to their spot.
It's a friend of my wife's. I guess they're kind of a friend of mine, too.
They're friends of mine. Like,
Okay.
we all, I'll have to explain it to you. Anyways, we went over to one of their places. They had Kroger fried chicken, and they had ribs, and I did get a glizzy. I did have a glizzy. They had glizzies there. I had one glizzy, some ribs, some chicken. They had baked beans, potato salad, jollof rice, because they're Liberian, and so they had a bunch of Liberian foods as well. But yeah. So I had one glizzy, but I got a whole pack of glizzies at the crib.
Awesome.
And I've got chili, so I'm having
I
chili
haven't had a
cheese
glizzy all
glizzies.
season. This year.
Want
I've
me to
not
bring
had
you a
one.
glizzy?
Maybe.
Okay.
Thank you.
I got turkey glizzies because I'm trying to watch my figure.
Yeah, that's okay.
But they
Actually,
still
okay, so
hit.
technically, we have turkey sausages every week. So I guess technically that's glizzy, but
When
I
you
don't
say
put it on a bun.
turkey sausages, you mean like turkey brats?
Kind of. They're
Okay.
either turkey or chicken-based sausages that you
Got
just
you.
put on a skillet, and then we
you
like
cook
chop them up with
They've got the
vegetables.
casing around them, and that's I got you.
Yeah.
I got you. I follow.
So I guess technically.
No.
That's not a glizzy.
Because it's too thick.
I wouldn't count it as
It's
glizzy.
way too thick to
I
be
agree.
a glizzy.
That's
right?
the
And so
clarification in that moment.
That's where I am.
I did have a very, I guess not Memphis food moment, but just I've lived in the South for long enough. My friends and I went to brunch on Sunday, and everyone was just getting very normal brunch things. Well, except for my friend Zoe, who ordered a dozen oysters and a cup of black coffee, which is quite the choice. But like egg dishes, biscuits, whatever. I got a fried pork chop. Smothered in gravy
Yes.
with potatoes
Yes.
at 11 in the morning.
Let's do it.
It was so good. That's what I had on my Memorial weekend drive back, my Memorial Day drive back.
No, wait, that's way too heavy of
I
a
was
food.
holding the pork chop. I didn't have a fork, so I just gnawed it off the bone on my drive back through the backwoods of Alabama. Not my favorite drive.
Oh, why not?
I don't know. It always seems so scary. Feels a little deliverancy. For being completely honest, like it all might come crashing down. Like I don't know if, like I just feel like they would like not help if I was in trouble.
Oh no, stop it! They're helpful in the backwoods to your
I don't
kind in
know.
Alabama.
I feel like they could sniff it out.
Sniff what out?
That we're not
That you're a woman?
That I'm a woman.
Yeah, that's
that
fine.
I have a job.
That's fine.
That I talk for a living.
Just don't. They couldn't sniff that out.
I don't
They
know.
couldn't sniff that part out. They
I
couldn't.
don't
They
know.
can't sniff out your politics, Jessica.
I think it's.
It's not. It's
Someone
not.
did this weekend. I'll tell you
Someone
about
sniffed
later.
it out?
Yeah. It's fine. Moving on to TV Tuesday.
Is it?
Yeah.
Okay.
One of the greatest moments of Wheel of Fortune history happened last week. The man on the left, we can't show the clip because trademark purposes. However, we can show a screenshot of it. So this was the puzzle to be solved on Wheel of Fortune. The man on the left is the one solving the puzzle. This is what's on the screen. It's a phrase. CJ, have you seen this?
I haven't.
Oh, can you please solve the puzzle?
Take in the butt.
I hate you. You have seen it.
I haven't. What
Yes,
is
you
it?
have.
I haven't.
That's what he said.
No, he didn't.
Yes, he did.
No, he didn't.
He said right in the butt.
How is he spelling right?
Exactly.
Oh,
Spelled it
wow.
wrong. I cannot believe you.
What's the phrase?
I can't tell if you're BSing me or not.
I haven't
You didn't
seen
see
it.
the clip.
No, what's the phrase?
This is the best.
Throw it back up there?
This is the best.
Because takes will have an ES.
Right.
So I'm missing a letter. Oh, wow. This is the best.
He said right in the butt.
Good guess.
Great
Good
guess. Similar,
Good guess.
Many people saw it and said, how did he get to that conclusion? But you're proving he was not alone in seeing butt somewhere in there. It is appropriate because this is the best, and it was just a wonderful moment in the world of Wheel
They know
of
what they're doing
Fortune.
also, right?
Do they?
They do. Hey, come on, man.
don't know
Don't
if
have
they do.
misleading. That's how they got the homie Randy from South Park. That's how they got him to say the N-word on TV.
It's true.
What was the phrase? The phrase was people I don't like, and it was naggers. But they
Thank you.
like they just threw the two G's and the N up. Like,
You're
what am I
really-
supposed to say?
You're really
what is he
giving
supposed
greatest
to
hits
say
today. That's a men thing, not that story. The in the.
If
butt.
I give you N space, GG space,
Some
space, what are you going to
some
say?
TV
People
well,
who annoy you.
Let's go to South Park off of that because it feels like it's in similar universes. South Park spoofed Lizzo in their latest episode. They did a thing on Ozempic, and I always forget the one that starts with an M, but another weight loss drug, and said instead you should be taking a new pill to just accept your body as it is called Lizzo. And Lizzo did a blind react to this. I don't know if it was truly a blind react or if she was acting, but I thought she was a really good sport about it, considering you become the butt of a joke, and Lizzo has been in the headlines for all the wrong reasons in the last couple of months. But if you can at least take that kind of a joke when South Park completely dedicates a segment to you and your body specifically, good on Lizzo. It was a funny little skit,
Have you seen that episode?
I watched
but not the whole
that
episode.
part of it.
Okay,
I have not watched the
forward-
episode in the entirety.
I look forward to watching the episode because I think South Park does some. South Park has a really good eye for critiquing popular culture, and those things are always fun, right? Like the N-word episode of South Park, right? Like that was a really fun, really good episode, really smart episode, and I think that I'm interested to see what their critique is on the whole body positivity and Ozempic culture craze that is sweeping the nation right now.
And obviously Lizzo is on the body positivity side. And so they said one of the benefits of Lizzo makes you feel good about your weight. 70% of patients on Lizzo no longer cared. Lizzo helps you eat everything you want and keep physical activity to a minimum. And it was funny, and she laughed at it. And I think when she laughs at it, it opens up everyone who can laugh at it and talk about just the absurdity that is trying to navigate the weight loss drug industry that has swept across the nation.
And being comfortable in what you are.
Yeah.
Right? Like I'm assuming most people have things on their body they would like to be different. If you have the ability to change it, you would want to change it. Now, what does it look like to change it? What are you willing to do to change it? Are you willing to cut back on eating some foods? Well, that doesn't work for everybody. You willing to be more active? That doesn't work for everybody. Are you willing to take this miracle drug? That seems to be working for everybody right now. Are there any side effects to it? I will deal with that later on down the line when we figure out some more things. But to each his own. If that's what you want to do it. Yeah. It's your body, your choice. Those are the things you have a choice over.
We love that. And it was just good for Lizzo, because the last time we were talking about Lizzo was because she was saying like she was so sick of her body being the butt of every joke, which understandable, but it was everything. It was the I'm quitting, I'm never coming back, and now she's laughing along with this sketch. So I thought PR-wise, good PR move for Lizzo. Bad PR move for the Kardashian West family. This is TV adjacent news after North West, daughter of reality star and star of the worst season of American Horror Story in the history of American Horror Story, Kim Kardashian and Kanye West. Their daughter performed in The Lion King 30th anniversary live show at the Hollywood Bowl and got to perform I Just Can't Wait to Be King. And clips of this started rolling out, to which many people said, how? She's adorable, great stage presence, came from two celebrities. However, this was a real life part that many child actors auditioned for, people with kids with vast musical theater history. It would have been a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity for someone to get the part, to be able to sing I Just Can't Wait to Be King, and instead it went to North West. The answer is nepotism. I'm sorry, if people still don't know how this works, like, have you been living under a rock? North West is the daughter of Kim Kardashian and Kanye West. That is how she got it.
That's how.
Life's not fair sometimes.
That's how everything works.
Tough.
Everything.
Tough.
Everything. If I got a kid, guess what my kid will probably get a chance to do? Be a producer.
Oh, amazing.
I would hope my
box?
child aspires to be more, but guess what? Like, I've got the connections, I've got the ends, and I could be like, hey, come on, and if this is interesting to you, you can be a producer. I could also introduce my kid to some people on some calls and be like, hey, if you're interested, We could probably get you to Shadow Pete, Brevin Robb, somebody like that.
Right.
And like that's just what it is. How many times?
I mean, it's not fair. Like,
no, it's not. It's not
absolutely
fair.
not fair.
It's
and
not
I'm
fair.
sure that there was somebody who would have been an amazing little Simba who now has to say, God, whoever was the runner-up. There was a mom on TikTok who went about that her son and like posted his audition and was great. Your kid's not the child of two celebrities.
Wait. It's not the kid's fault. It's your fault. You should have been a better, more successful parent.
Exactly.
Right? You should have been the Kim Kardashian and Kanye West of your field. Then
And whatever your job is,
in.
that's what you should be ushering your kid into. So you can use nepotism in your favor.
That's why we have last names, and the last names are what they are. Right?
Work
like
smarter, not harder. Use nepotism.
Doesn't Smith come from blacksmith? Right? Where like everybody was named what they did.
We have a presidential candidate who's running on the last name of a president who was shortly in office. Decades ago.
Wasn't he in office for a while? It wasn't short. Didn't he get 2 terms?
It was cut a little short.
The second term?
Yeah.
How many terms did Kennedy get before that man blew his brains out?
1.5.
Okay. Yeah,
Was it one man? I don't know.
Well, here we go.
Single shooter.
Here we go.
Multiple shooters.
I wonder what that Kennedy
who was
thinks
on the
about
hill?
it.
Who was on the grassy knoll?
Can we ask that Kennedy?
Maybe.
Has the
Can we open the files?
The brain-eating amoeba ate away his... Oh, my fault. Excuse me. Brain-eating worm ate away his memory skills as to what happened?
I'm not sure.
Okay.
Do you think Aaron Rodgers knows? Oh, I said I wasn't going to say his name.
You said his name.
Dang it.
That's your
it's
fault.
Like Beetlejuice.
It's not like
anyway,
Beetlejuice.
Did you see any of the other clips from The Lion King?
I saw...
Did you see Jeremy Irons do Be Prepared?
No, what I saw that made me excited was the singing of Hakuna Matata with the original.
That was lovely as well.
People. And so, why am I blanking on smart guy dude's name? Dude who sang One Call Away with Chingy. Why am I blanking on his name? Because he was a big-time child star for me when I was a kid. And seeing him come out on stage and sing Hakuna Matata was so much fun to see. I'm blanking on it. I'll find it.
Okay. Jeremy Irons doing Be Prepared was just a reminder that Be Prepared is a top 3 Disney villain song at worst, and it might be the best Disney villain song.
Jason Weaver.
Okay.
Jason Weaver is who I'm thinking of. Oh, To Be Prepared is absolutely top 3. I would say maybe top 5 Disney song all time.
Fair.
Top 3 villain song. Other good Disney villain songs.
Poor Unfortunate Souls and Gaston are my other 2.
Poor Unfortunate Souls, Gaston. I love Friends on the Other Side. I think the one thing that movie did well was that song.
Yes.
So throw that into the mix as well.
I hate the one from Pocahontas.
Savages?
Well, Savages and the Mine, Mine, Mine.
Oh, okay. I forgot about Mine, Mine, Mine.
He's just a colonizer.
What are we doing with Cruella de Vil?
Oh, Cruella de Vil is a great one, but she doesn't sing it.
She doesn't sing it.
But I think it still counts
about
as a Disney villain
though.
song.
If it's about her, still,
that's got to be up there.
I would still have Be Prepared as one.
I Want to Be Like You is technically a villain song.
And not technically, it's absolutely a
It is
villain
a villain
song.
but
It's
it
a great
doesn't
villain
feel
song.
like a villain song.
No.
Which makes it even crazier.
But
there's the Mother Knows Best from Tangled. You might not be familiar, but
I've heard the
that
song.
one's a killer. We don't often get like the evil stepmothers. Like we didn't get one from the Snow White evil stepmother.
Cinderella.
We didn't get one from Cinderella. We didn't get one from Maleficent. Like those original villains didn't get songs. And so that's a good one.
Yeah, I think Be Prepared is the best villain song.
Is Heffalumps and Woozles a Disney villain song?
Heffalumps from Pooh?
Heffalumps and Woozles.
Yeah, that is a Disney villain song.
That would be
That's from Winnie the Pooh.
Oogie Boogie song.
We did draft. Did we draft
drafted villains? We didn't draft songs.
We did. Did we? Okay, so we drafted villains, not songs.
Correct.
I don't think we drafted Disney villain songs. That feels oddly specific. Did we do it with Bennett?
Yes.
All right. We'll figure that out. But yeah, I think Be Prepared is the best villain song.
Yeah.
And
If
I
you
think
haven't seen Jeremy Irons do Be Prepared at the Hollywood Bowl, highly suggest seeking out that content. All right, real quick before we go, what we're watching. I haven't watched any television all week, which is insane. I watched one episode of Desperate Housewives before I went, and I'm excited to embark on my new Desperate Housewives rewatch adventure because the pilot absolutely held up, and I think I'm considering it one of my favorite pilots of all time. I did read 2 books. That's how good my vacation was. I finished 2 books. One of them was an audiobook, which I do count as reading, just because some people learn differently.
That's not reading.
Yes, it is.
That is not.
What do you count it then?
Podcast.
It's not a podcast. It's a book.
podcast.
It's a novel.
You're listening to it.
It's a
if
novel.
You're listening to it, it's a podcast.
Well,
dog.
it was a
It's
novel,
not
and it
book.
was
You're
narrated
not reading.
by Meryl Streep, which I think vastly affected how I enjoyed this book. It's Tom Lake by Ann Patchett. It was one of Reese Witherspoon's. You know, she has her book club and always puts that little sunshine stamp on
Reese
things.
Witherspoon.
I don't often read those, but being on the beach felt like the right time to do it. And I had such a long car ride, which is why I started the audio version of it, the audiobook. Listening to Meryl Streep talk to me for like 11 hours was joyous. She has one of the top voices. It was so comforting. There is an Achilles rupture plot twist that really got me. It sent me into the PTSD depths of hell, like really detailed description. It was perfect. This author did her research, described tearing your Achilles to a T. It was good, but I think I bumped it up because of Meryl Streep's voice. And then I read a book by a Memphis author that wasn't really my favorite book, but there's a lot of Memphis references, including a fake Harbortown Facebook group that was entertaining.
What was the name of the book?
It's called While We Were Burning.
Okay.
It's an author's debut. And I think just writing a book is so hard. Like, I never want to say, like, oh, I really didn't like this book, because the fact that you completed a book is incredible. It might not have been my favorite, but I think some people might like it. So that was my TV watching, AKA just being a nerd. Are you watching anything?
We finished Brooklyn Nine-Nine.
Oh, congrats.
We finished it. They have and you'll find this out as you progress through it. There's a recurring episode, and I love when shows do that, where every season has this episode with this thing being the central plot, and it's the heist. So the show ends on the heist, on a heist episode sort of thing, and the episode is about the heist, and then the show ends with them doing another heist and just reminding us, like, hey, this show ends, but in your mental mind, you're allowed to imagine that everybody continues on with their lives and they're all still very, very good friends. That last season of Brooklyn Nine-Nine, they still do the goofiness, but there is an overarching theme of police reform there as well. So that was kind of interesting to see how they weave themselves in and out of those two very contrasting things, the goofiness with police brutality and police reform. Outside of that, I hadn't really watched a whole lot of TV. It has been NBA basketball.
Every night.
Every night.
But we might get a break until June 6th. So lots of time to fill in.
The W has been wild.
Yes.
So it's been WNBA when there hasn't been NBA, and Brooklyn Nine-Nine. So yeah, that's been it for me.
Did you watch the Gerard Carmichael show?
It's a reality show, and I'm not super
I'm intrigued.
interested.
I wasn't interested in it at all, and then I heard a couple people discussing it from a standpoint of it not just being a reality show. It's like a hybrid of his stand-up and reality, and how his reality dictates his stand-up. I might give it a try.
Okay.
I might add it to the collection. But like you said, NBA every night. We have more NBA tonight. Will the Timberwolves stave off elimination and still have the opportunity to believe they could be the first team to come back 3-0? Our Jelly Bean picks of the day. The Timberwolves tonight, underdogs against the Mavs in Dallas. Dallas 1.5-point favorites. I'm going to give it to the Timberwolves. Mavs without Derek Lively. Feels like the Timberwolves can have one shot of adrenaline, even if they don't come back down 3-0. I think they get one win tonight in Dallas. And you know the NBA really would like for the conference finals to at least extend another couple of days. In the WNBA tonight, my pick of the day is the Mercury covering against the Connecticut Sun. The Connecticut Sun, 5-0 this season. They have been playing their booties off. They are 8.5-point favorites tonight against the Mercury. Mercury have been able to keep it close against a couple of teams.
Where did you get plus 8.5?
On ESPN.
Oh, gosh, I need to use those lines. Okay, go
Where
ahead.
are you getting yours?
Odd Shark, but go ahead.
Okay. And then my lock of the day, because we bet on everything because we're degenerates on this show, is that my dear friend Zoe makes it back to LA. She got a notification that there are thunderstorms in Dallas. I don't know if you heard about the storms yesterday. Good thing that the basketball game is played indoors, because Dallas under some weather advisories at the moment. But I'm going to wish her luck and put Karmic Spirits, I'm going to sage her flights and say she makes it back to LA today.
You can't just be making bets and there aren't any lines.
Why not? It's straight
Whatever.
up. Either she
Whatever.
makes it or she doesn't.
Okay.
That's so simple.
I didn't know we could bet on things like that.
You
That
told me
has
we
changed-
could bet on things weird, and I decided to take it and run with
That has
it.
changed everything for me. Cardinals plus 110 straight up. Give me them. I will take the Mavs minus 1.5. And if I could get the Mercury plus 8.5, I'll take the Mercury. The line that I got is plus 1.5 on OddsShark. That's very
impossible.
We've got to figure this out.
This is right. I'm looking at it right now on
Is it 8.5?
ESPN.com.
Give me
It's
8.5.
8.5.
Give me Mercury plus 8.5. Then I don't know what the hell OddsShark is doing. Give me Mercury plus 8.5. While the Sun are really, really good. They beat up on the Fever twice.
Right.
Like they hadn't played.
It feels a little
a
skewed.
whole lot of tough competition early in this season so far. I think this will be a good test for them. I think Mercury keep it close. The Sun pull away late, maybe 3 or 4 point game.
We will be back tomorrow to talk about it all. I hope everybody has a wonderful Tuesday. Great to be back with everybody. I'm already forgetting our new. Has Jacob made the graphic yet?
No.
Well, that's too bad.
He's gonna
Here
make it
are
soon, though.
your lyrical words of wisdom to go into the rest of your Tuesday. The music's banging and the lights down low. Just one more dance and then we're good to go. Waiting for someone who needs me. Hormones racing at the speed of light, but that don't mean it's gotta be tonight. Baby, baby, baby. Have a great Tuesday. See you later. Bye.
Wait, that's from Genie in a Bottle?
Sure is.
What?
I wasn't gonna say you gotta rub me the right way. That felt
Why
inappropriate
not?
as my words are.